Tom Clark's Main Event is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
This is Daddy's show. Step off.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to the program, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Clark, and this right here is Tom Clark's Main Event. I always try to time it. There I am. What's up, kids? Welcome back to the podcast. Hope you and yours are doing fantastic. I got the dog. He's here over my left shoulder like a big hairy parrot. He's just hanging there. He's not going to be squawking or anything. If he does, you'll know it because he'll just be all up in it. Because when he starts barking, the dead shall rise. I'm telling you, it's ear piercing. And it's sudden. It's out of nowhere. You're just having a quiet time, watching TV with the wife, just chilling. And all of a sudden, because he heard something 3 houses down, like a sheet of paper fell on someone's kitchen floor. And he went, What's that? Let's go bark at it. One day I'm going to do a show about how dogs think. It's going to be epic. Hey, look, sometimes we start off with stuff besides pro wrestling. Everybody relax. Who's first at the table today, kids? Cameron, what's up, my friend? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. What's going on, Elvis? Guten Tag, Sandy in Germany. How you doing, my friend? Christopher Sims, what's up? Elvis Martinez, what's going on? Sugar Shane, happy Juneteenth. There you go. Yes, sir. David Griffiths, David Down Under. What's good, my friend? How are you doing? Let's see. Did you call the police for the robbery done to the King Adam Cole? Man, you never stop. You are relentless. From now on, you are Relentless Ray Dean. There's been worse nicknames. I kind of like that. What's up, Jeff? Jumpin' Jeff Sharma. Double V Victor Vasquez. I'm only here to give you people names. I'm just here to give you people nicknames, and then I go on about my business. Easy E, Elvis Martinez. You like that? Rebecca, I don't have one for you yet. I'll come up with something. Jamel in Vegas. Dave, man, we have our usual cast of characters here today. Shannon, what's up? Hope everybody's doing great. Happy Friday to you, one and all. Tony in Tennessee, the family and I are headed your way on Monday. Another vacation. I know what you're thinking. Again? Yeah, again, because you know what? I've earned it. That's it. Shut up. All right. Let's get on with the show. We got bunches of stuff to talk about. But before we get too deep in the weeds here, kids, we're going to welcome our co-host for today. You know him from Bleacher Report. You know him from the Twitter machine. You know him from Tom Clark's 6M podcast. Have you subscribed yet? What are you doing? Stop wasting your life. We talk about all sorts of fun stuff. If you're a geek, a nerd, a fanboy, fangirl, or you just like cool stuff, man, if you're not doing it, you're missing out. And before I bring him on, real quick, everybody talking about, oh, Tom, if you had a t-shirt, I'd buy it. Guess what? Tom Clark's shop is now open. It's the truth. Man, I'm telling you, it's all over my social media, dude. Go buy a t-shirt, get a coffee mug, get you something. The logo, the show logo is all over it. I'm going to do a tiny URL. I haven't done that yet. Have I? I think I have. tinyurl.com/Tom Clark Pods. I think. Go try that. Pretty sure I have. That's enough of me selling, at least for now. Let's bring him on the show, kids. Everybody, welcome back to the podcast, Mr. Phil Lindsey. Phil, happy Friday to you, man. How you doing?
Happy Friday.
Oh, man. So, Phil, you and I recorded an action-packed episode of the 6M last night in which we talked about Brock Lesnar. And you're not Rob Killam. Hold on. There you is. I got loads of stuff loaded up. We talked about Brock Lesnar last night, and I kind of choked my way through it, and I was thanking God for the mute button because she blessed me with it because I was choking my way through it. I've had a summer cold all week, and I found out when we started recording, you've had the same thing. So how you doing with the cold right now?
I'm doing good. Drinking tea, usual.
Man, I drink too. I don't know if coffee helps or hurts it. You would think that coffee soothes. I don't know because it's hot. I don't know. I got the cough drops here. This is a cheap plug for, is this Hall's? Yeah, Hall's Original. When you got the cough, just it gives you a terrible taste, but it relaxes the cough, hopefully. Kids, make Phil feel welcome. if you will. We appreciate you. Timothy, how you doing, my friend? David says, good day, Phil. I love how those guys talk, man. That's good stuff. Ray says, what's good, Phil? I know you're upset about King Adam Cole as well, and Jay-Z is king too. Man, this guy plugs everything. He plugs his stuff. Relentless. I'm telling you, he's relentless, man. Telling you.
Cool. He didn't really think Adam Cole was winning, did he?
He's never looked better, in my opinion. That promo he cut that night on Karrion Kross was straight fire, as kids say. I loved it. Sandy says, thanks for following my wrestling Facebook group called World of Wrestling. There you go. You know, Sandy, I got to be honest. I don't know how that thing wasn't taken already. It seems like such a simple acronym, but man, it's working. All right, folks, let's go ahead and jump on in it. Let's get the ticker ticking. This is episode number 230. We're 30 weeks removed from the 200th anniversary celebration of Tom Clark's main event. I'm going to keep doing that till we reach 300. So, all right, Phil, let's talk about something that we talked about off mic, I think, last night before we did the Brock Lesnar episode. AEW is coming to New York City, the Big Apple, on September 22nd. Not for a major pay-per-view event, not for a major crossover event, but for Dynamite. What's your take on this, man?
I think it's cool. I think it's a pretty big deal. Like I was telling you, that they're going to be the first big wrestling show in New York post-pandemic. I think they should have waited for a pay-per-view, but at the same time, like, that's a pretty big notch on their belt. Like, especially with the news, it sounds like Survivor Series might be in Brooklyn. So, you know, getting there first, I think it's a big deal.
So the word is that they've got around 16.5 amount of tickets to sell. I mean, ballpark it. How close do you think they might get? Is it wide open? Do you think they'll get there? I mean, what do you think, man?
I'm not sure. It's so hard to gauge how much people are going to be willing to get back to shows with the pandemic. We still don't have really a real gauge of what crowds are going to look like in the next few months. Like, I think people will show up for big pay-per-views. Like, I think the turnout for All Out is going to be good. I think the turnout for SummerSlam is going to be good. But something like Dynamite at such a big arena is still uncertain for me.
It's interesting. I would love to know if there is a reasoning behind other than, hey, we should just do this. I mean, is there anything besides that? You think maybe they have something big planned, maybe a big name coming in, maybe a New Japan big name coming in? I mean, you think there's anything maybe we don't know about yet?
It could be something big planned. But I mean, plant their flag in New York because they haven't done a New York show. It's kind of it matters, and I mean, that's seen as New York. New York is seen as, you know, Vince territory for a lot of people. Like, you don't get not just anybody gets to Madison Square Garden. Not just anybody does big shows in New York. So getting to New York and doing a different arena is interesting. Like doing Arthur Ashe Field, because that's usually tennis. You don't really see wrestling there. So, you know, getting a different venue and, you know, trying to continue to look like an alternative in New York, I think that's the deal here.
And, you know, as we said last night, you put Jericho's face front and center on the poster. You put Sting on it. You put people that traditional WWE fans will hopefully recognize. And you put Big Show on there, too. I think you need to. I mean, it's, you know, if the smart play, I mean, yeah, of course you put Darby. Of course you put Cassidy. Of course you put, you know, MJF and Moxley. But, like, I mean, you definitely want to put some very recognizable faces on there as well. Christopher A. Patton from the Wrestling Geeks Alliance podcast, everybody. Based on how well the Knicks did at MSG, I would assume the crowd be pretty large. Obviously not one for one, but it does show crowds are willing to show up. He's got a point. The NBA crowds are coming back, so maybe there is a desire to get back out there again.
That's true. I mean, playoff basketball is kind of a different crowd.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that is true.
Shannon with a good point. It's definitely got people talking, which is good. There's nothing like the buzz. I mean, you'll sell tickets off just the buzz alone.
Yeah, the video they produced for it looked really good. They made it seem like a big deal just based on that video. So,
I mean, if tickets go on sale, I think they said July 16th. I think is when tickets go on sale. Dude, do you if you're serious about this, and of course I'm sure they believe that their roster is enough to get people to the table, but do you swing for the fences and get Okada? Do you go big or go home? What do you think?
That's going to be interesting. The other part about this is going to be after July, so this is going to be after that non-compete's up. So it'll be interesting to see if anybody that was released from WWE shows up or is with AEW by that point. I mean, they already have Andrade, but I mean, you could maybe see somebody else show up. You might see something else interesting leading to something later this year, and that's after All Out. So I don't know. It's an interesting time to do it.
Very true. David says the crowds here in Australia haven't been as big for Aussie rules football like they were pre-COVID. A lot of people are weary. David, I don't know the answer to this. How is it going in your country? I mean, how are you guys doing? Are you getting back? Are you on the verge? I'm curious because I really don't know. Let's see. Mike says Lesnar has not signed a new contract that we know of, Mike. So I wouldn't be totally surprised if they signed Lesnar away from Vince. Don't anybody laugh at this. Phil and I discussed this on the podcast last night. We imagine a world in which Brock signs. I think there's good and bad points to it, but I think that you made some very valid points last night, Phil, when you talked about how he's not exactly what AEW has been trying to do since their inception. And he would probably turn off some longtime AEW fans as well.
Yeah, I think he is a WWE guy through and through. I would be very shocked if he doesn't re-sign with WWE. I think unless AEW is going to offer him this boatload of money that WWE can't, which I just can't imagine WWE won't offer him what he wants.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, basically, if he wants it, they're going to give it to him. I mean, they've got the cash. Don't know if you guys know. They're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cleared up that Braun's contract and some of those other big contracts. So
yeah, God. Yeah. I mean, you've already got billions of dollars, but I need some more, pal. Let's fire these guys. Screw them. I mean, I don't know if that was said, but buddy, it sure seems like it. We'll stay tuned to this, folks. We'll see what happens, how it plays out. Yeah, we're kicking off today with AEW news. How you like that? That's different, right? New AEW video game footage. Phil, the word is the scuttlebutt online already is that they've already took a bath on this game. I don't know how you already go in the hole here and the thing's not even been released, but talk to me about this. Is the rush to get this game out, is this a silly idea? And if the answer is they should wait, what should they wait for? Like, is this too early?
Well, if I understand it correctly, the Forbes article that came out said that they are in the red as a company because they are spending so much money on video games. And my thing is, I don't know how much you want to read into that because, I mean, a lot of people are in the red coming out of 2020. You're coming out of COVID. You don't have ticket sales. You're basing all of your money based off of the TV deal you have. And essentially, that's it. I mean, they just started doing live shows again. So it's not hard to believe they would be in the red. They don't have much profit coming in other than like merchandising and, like I said, the TV deal. So I don't know. It makes sense for a startup company, especially if you're going to be an alternative. Like, they should be trying to get a video game out there. So it makes sense to me. And I don't know. I didn't see anything egregious in this clip. Like, oh, this looks like it's gonna be a bomb. I mean, they didn't show a whole lot, but it didn't look like, oh, well, this is a mistake.
Looks good. It looks good, especially for a first crack at the video game where it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Carlos is asking, have you seen the prices for SummerSlam? I have not looked this up. I hear are they outrageous? Is that what the buzz is on this?
Yeah, I haven't seen the prices, but it's Vegas. It's SummerSlam. So, yeah, it's going to be expensive. Yeah, I've already expected that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, who knows what will happen here, kids? I love the wrestling video games. I mean, I can't really call myself a gamer, Phil, because I'm really not. But like, if you put a video game in front of me, I like the NBA stuff. I like the NFL. Any of the sports games I dig. And I do like the 2K games for WWE. So I'm sure I'll definitely probably pick this up And knowing that company, they'll at least make it entertaining. They'll at least make it fun. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah, I mean, having Omega, who's a big gamer, as kind of the figurehead of this makes a lot of sense. And this looks a lot like No Mercy. The same.
Yeah, it does.
It's the same publisher and everything. So, yeah, I mean, I'm interested in it.
Let's see. Christopher says some tickets as low as $25. They're going up against a Pacquiao fight in the same city. Weirdly enough, I
don't
mean,
know about that decision. That's a odd one.
yeah. WWE, honestly, man, just believes they can just take anybody on. So I'm not surprised by that at all. Everybody, please welcome to the show Mook. Mook is one of the stars of High Velocity Wrestling. Mook is a quality guy, very good in the ring, very entertaining young man for sure. Story modes make the wrestling games for me. I couldn't agree more. You would think, Phil, that they'll insert a lot of the story modes in here and have backstage segs and like Cody backstage coaching up the young guy and that kind of stuff. And it could make for a very entertaining video game, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think the last few 2K games, when it was at its best, with the My Career mode was good. But I heard bad things about the last 2K at that My Career mode. I didn't really play that one, so I don't know.
The last 2K was the only one I've not bought. And I've been buying them since The Rock was on the cover, and it was Raw versus SmackDown. And I think last year's was the first one I've not bought. It was tradition. We always bought it, me and my kid, and played it. I heard too much bad stuff. And then as the game went on, I heard about, well, there's a patch. There's a patch here and there's a patch there. And then I kept waiting for news. Oh, the patch has fixed it all. And I never heard that. Never read it anywhere. I'm like, yeah, I'm out. I'm not buying it. So, yeah. Elvis says, did you hear that Logan Paul say that he could beat Mike Tyson? And did you also hear, Elvis, that I'm the Queen of England?
Yeah.
Phil, when's this guy going to go away? Not you, Elvis. I'm sorry. You're out there hustling and doing your thing online. I respect that, but I have nothing good to say about this guy or his clown of a brother. I'm sorry. I'll be honest. Go away.
As long as people think they can make money with him, he'll be around. As far as him saying that he thinks he's better than Tyson, he's just going to keep trolling because that's his entire shtick is to troll. And that's what this whole era of YouTubers, that's what they do.
Very true. Mike says, I highly doubt it'll happen, but what if the big name turns out to be Cena? Do you think that'll help AEW's product because he might be willing to put over the younger talent? Now, he's not. I got to be honest, Mike. If there's one guy I would say is WWE through and through, and I know you never say never here, kids, but I think John Cena is WWE through and through. I don't think John wouldn't take a phone call. I'm sure he would. He'd be crazy not to. But at the same time, Phil, all right, so Phil, fantasy book it. I set you up last night with the same kind of question. What could they do for him? What could they put on the table that maybe Vince wouldn't put on the table? Is there anything at all?
No, I just don't. I just don't see him going to AEW at all. I think he's still on contract for one thing. I think, and then,
I think so.
Like they keep teasing that he might be Roman's opponent for SummerSlam. He's one of the guys that's up there, so I don't see that happening at all. But if they did do it, I think there's stuff they can do. I mean, you could easily revisit the stuff with Miro if you want. You could do the Omega match that, people want to see. Like, that's a dream match. You can do Omega versus Cena. There's stuff there. You can do Cena versus Cody. There's good matchups there, but I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I don't either. We continue the AEW news, kids. The past 2 days have seen the debut of two brand new stars, Nora Moxley and Liberty Rhodes. Isn't it messed up if in 15 years we're actually physically talking about these two? Like 15, 16 years, give or take. I mean, hey, they're training and they're, wow, dude, that blows my mind to even contemplate something like that. But congratulations to the happy couples at this time. Of course, the Moxleys, John and Renee, and the Rhodes, Cody and Brandy. So pretty cool. Good for them. A lot of sleepless nights ahead. I'll be honest with you. When they're little, like itty bitty, like this big, it's usually okay. Unless they have colic, the newborn sleeps like crazy. it's a few weeks in, a month or so in, and then it becomes, oh God, I'm not going to sleep again because you got to take shifts. Me and my wife like, okay, all right, so I've got tonight or you've got tomorrow night. If I have to work the next day, you're taking tonight if you're off. So you got to kind of balance it out. They'll get there. MJF's cryptocurrency. Phil, what do you are you a crypto guy? Because I've got a
No.
great friend who is really up on this stuff. He's got a second career in it. I'm following as much as I can, but dude, what do you make of this, man? He's the first wrestler to have his own cryptocurrency.
Is it like a legitimate cryptocurrency? I don't know if it was a joke. I saw it in passing.
Supposedly, he has over $137,000 in backing with over $114,000 in coins in existence as of 4:30 p.m. And I guess this was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. So it's the real deal, man.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about cryptocurrency. I don't know. I think it would be funny if this is all a work and he gets people to invest and then he comes around later and just yells sucker and laughs and takes their money.
Yeah, no kidding. I wonder if they could. Well, you know what? I was going to say, I wonder if they'll work it into a storyline. Of course they will.
Yeah, of course. It'll come up on Dynamite.
Yeah. Why wouldn't it? I'd go with it. Marqueen Sui Robinson, and please tell me I didn't mispronounce your name. Says I have a few coins myself. I've got a few as well, but it's like $40 worth. I'm not putting my life savings in there. It's too up and down, man. It's too up and down. Yeah. I mean, it takes a nosedive. It's too volatile right now. I'll tell you that. That's what I know for sure. Crypto is way too volatile right now. So be careful if you're going to do something over $50 or so. Yeah, good luck. Be patient. You got to be patient. You got to be in for the long game. Man, maybe I knew more than I thought. Yeah, be in for the long game. I'm just saying. Great friend of mine knows this stuff backwards and forwards. Phil, let's talk about NXT TakeOver in your house results. Real quick, kids. Saray, am I pronouncing that right? And Zoe Stark, they've changed her name because it's WWE.
It's Saray.
Saray, okay. Defeated the Robert Stone brand of Aaliyah and Jesse Camilla by pinfall. Bronson Reed, North American champion, MSK tag team champions, defeated Legado del Fantasma to retain their championship. Xia Li defeated Mercedes Martinez. L.A. Knight, let me talk to you, defeated Cameron Grimes. Raquel Gonzalez defeated Ember Moon. And then Karrion Kross retained the championship against O'Reilly, Cole, Gargano, and Pete Dunne by submission. Phil, what's your takeaway from this show, man? Did you have a favorite match, or what'd you think of the show overall?
It was a pretty good show. I think my favorite match was either the main event or the women's title match. I really enjoyed the opener. Well, not the opener because technically a tag match was the opener, but the winner take all match.
Yeah, it was good. And I tell you who else. You know what I'm leading to. You know who else I thought was good? I think him and Knight had a really good match, dude.
Yeah, I was glad that they didn't go the easy route and just put the title on Grimes. Mm-hmm. I think giving LA Knight that and letting him heal it up for a while with the belt, and I think that's the right move. And I mean, that showed this week when he attacked DiBiase. I think that whole segment was really good.
Yeah, I thought it was really well done. And Grimes is, everybody knows how I feel about this guy. I think he's entertaining. I love him to death. And if it keeps him in an active storyline and keeps him on TV, I'm all for it. It really feels like Knight is, dude, could we see NXT kind of become his brand? Because it kind of feels like, we're going to put this on you and this is you now. I mean, I kind of feel like, I felt like that with Cole and with Balor, and I kind of feel like that's where they're heading. Like, this is going to be your baby. This is your spotlight now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can definitely see him moving up. Great promo guy. I think once he gets some good character stuff to run with, he's going to get better. I liked him before when he was with NWA.
Yeah.
I had anything bad to say about him.
Yeah. And if you don't like that,
You can kiss my grin.
I love that. That's the only picture to put up when you do that soundbite. And if you're just listening to the audio version of the show, you're missing Cameron Grimes and all his naked goodness. Now you're intrigued, aren't you?
I'm sure if we go over the NXT stuff, the funny thing about that segment to me was that we've been watching DiBiase for weeks tell Cameron Grimes and show him up with his money, and then this week he gives the title to LA, and LA comes in this outfit, and I was just looking like, this is the guy you pick with this outfit on, and Cameron Grimes comes every week looking like fresh money, and this is the guy you pick. Bad form, DiBiase, bad form.
I know, right? It was very odd. But a lot of stuff that happens on NXT anymore just makes me shake my head. I thought the show was pretty good this week, but Robbie wanting to know what the big announcement William Regal made. Man, Robbie, brother, guess what you just did? You segued. You segued, my friend. Check this out. The return of Samoa Joe, or Samoa Joe, as Paul Heyman would pronounce it. Dude, the amount of grief this guy caught online, because people online are miserable people and they suck. Talking about, how could you do this? Why, can't the guy just do what he wants to do? I don't understand why we got to bash him. If he's not cleared to compete, but he wants a job and they want him, let the guy do what he wants to do, man. What's your thoughts on him being the enforcer of NXT?
I thought that segment was really good. I thought the way they handled it was great. It really seemed like he was going to become the new GM. And so, swerving us and keeping Regal as GM and just making him a enforcer, I think that works perfectly because you can still put him in matches eventually. You could still see him get physical like we did in the backstage segment. I liked it. The thing that I won't say that I don't like about it. The thing that's a bit disappointing is that he's still not back wrestling. I just want to see him as a full-time wrestler. And maybe that's just on me, and I just have to accept the fact that might be over. He might not ever be back to full-time again. But it's disappointing. I mean, when you think about all of the matches that we salivated over, I mean, even just watching this match and thinking about, not watching this match, but just watching the show and watching him square up with Cross and thinking about how good that match could be, or man, how good a match with Pete Dunne could be. It's like, man, just stop teasing me with this and actually give it to me. And I mean, if he's not going to wrestle, it'd be really, really sad to me.
And I get where you're coming from, and I think we all do that. We all project what we want onto these guys and gals. And sometimes it matches with what can actually happen, and sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't, we're like, oh, like I'm still bummed out about Sting not facing Taker. I'll never let that go. But truth be told, it was one guy's call. He said no. There was not much Sting or Taker could do. Having said that, if Taker wanted it bad enough, I kind of have to think that Taker could have cornered Vince on the phone and said, dude, we're going to make this happen. I want you to make this happen. Whether or not that phone call went down, I don't know. But like, I project that stuff on them, and it's not fair to them. They're just doing their jobs. But like, I mean, I think we'll see Joe back in the ring. To what capacity, I don't know. I mean, isn't it funny how his first night back it was supposed to be, I'm here to stop stuff from going down, and as soon as he shows up, stuff goes down, and Cole has to push him out of the way. It's the old Austin as GM thing or what was it they called him? The sheriff of Raw, or he had a badge. I'm the sheriff of Raw, son. And it's like, if he was provoked, so of course the first thing Cole does, I'm going to push Samoa Joe. Boom. And then of course Joe chokes him out. So yikes. That's good stuff. Remember that night in the ring when he's sharing a beer with Jericho? And Austin turns his back and Jericho pats him on the back. And that's all he did was pat him on the back. And you could hear the crowd go, oh, because that's physically provoking. And Austin just stands there for a second. The beer's kind of falling out of his mouth and he turns around and stuns him. Man, just allow me a moment to reminisce. I miss those days. If they go that route with Joe, they could make this thing very fun.
I mean, just having Joe on TV every week and not being behind the commentary desk anymore is a plus. I just want him to wrestle, though. I want him to wrestle. I want him to be a world champion. This is just what I've wanted for him since he left NXT. But just doesn't seem like it's meant to be.
Yeah, I think you're right. Ray, this is for you, my friend.
Bad night to shop for Adam Cole, man. Got choked out
man.
Immediately.
He did. See, Ray, I gave you something, and Phil crapped on it. So get mad at Phil. I'm just saying.
I just, when you touch a guy that will put you to sleep and turn around and yell your wife's name in the camera, it's not a guy you want to play with. Not a guy you want to play with.
No kidding. Let's talk about the second. Can you hear the cough drop? My apologies, but it's better than the coughing, isn't it? Let's talk about the second big return of the week. Yeah. Eva Marie's triumphant return of the week. I've got people in the chat talking about it because they're anxious. They're so excited. They're celebrating. They've got the kazoos and the party hats. So, Phil, for a month straight, I said, I'm the guy. Everyone remember that I'm the guy. You understand me? I'm the guy that said, give this a chance. I've been wrong before. I don't want to crap on this until it happens. Let's see what happens. She posts photos all the time of her in the gym, killing it. She lives in the gym. Look at her body. She's living in the gym. We don't know what she's capable of. I know she's been training. Let's see. Don't crap on it till it happens. Well, guess what, Phil? I've been wrong again. And I'm wrong this time. Through no fault of her own, once again, this whole thing's a joke. What in the world is happening here?
Okay, so I'm going to level with you. I haven't watched Raw in a few weeks. It's a bad show. I'm just going to put that out there. It's a bad show. I don't watch it. I don't enjoy it, so I don't want to keep watching it knowing I'm not enjoying it and continue to complain about it.
Right.
So I didn't see this segment. I saw the advertisement. I saw that she was going against Naomi, and I was just like, I don't understand what they're doing, Naomi. I just don't get it. I feel like every year we talk about how much money they leave on the table with Naomi and how much potential is there. And for some reason, they just won't get out of first gear with her. I don't know what it is. So, clear as day, she's going to lose this match. I wasn't sure how it was going to happen, but it's very clear she was going to get jobbed out here. So then when I saw the pictures and I saw the clip of Piper Niven, I was like, we're still doing the fake out gimmick that she did when she was there before. I'm going to have a match, guys. I'm going to have a match. Comes out, there's no match. Why are we doing this again? I don't understand. And I know there's going to be some smarks out there go, for the heat, brah, for the heat. And it's just like, are you getting heat on Eva, though? Or are you getting heat as a company because no one wants to see this?
Yeah, it's not heat on her. It's because they just showed up and said, well, look what we're doing. It wasn't her. I mean, and we all know it's not her, for crying out loud. Like, again, all her social media leading up to this was no mention of her doing anything remotely close to this. It was just, I'm getting ready, can't wait to get back out there, that kind of thing. And then, I don't get it at all. Toby says, how disrespectful to Piper. Yeah, the commentators acted as though they didn't know who she was, didn't know her name. What's this idea of if you're on the main roster, you're like, well, who's that? I don't know. What? It's the same company, man.
Well, I mean, it's not just the main roster, because remember, they acted like they didn't know who Dabba-Kato was either.
Very, very true. Yeah, and he sat at the table with them.
He was on Raw Underground for weeks.
Yikes.
So, this is I don't know. I hate when they insult our intelligence and they show us something for weeks and they don't reward us for watching their programming. It's like, basically, if you watch NXT UK or you watch NXT, you're wasting your time because none of that stuff matters. We're going to bring them to Raw, SmackDown, and we're going to ignore all that stuff. Let's ignore the fact that this woman has challenged for the NXT UK Women's Championship more than once. And, all these other things like saying that she's Eva Marie's protege. Let's ignore the fact that this woman has wrestled all over the world, progressed and Stardom and all these other places and has been a champion worldwide. She's Eva Marie's protege, and because she's beautiful and she looks great, that she needs to take advice from Eva Marie. Why are we doing this? Like, why? It all feels like the same. Look, she's fat, guys. She has to listen to Eva Marie because Eva Marie is good looking and everybody listens to good looking people. And I'm not saying that in a fat shaming way. Piper Niven is fantastic no matter what she looks like. She's a great wrestler. She does not need this. She doesn't.
Let me sum it up for you, kids.
Hot garbage.
I'm glad you allowed me to segue to this because I didn't know how to approach it, but I'm going to say it because you said it. And I think I think it's worth saying. This is the same company that supposedly, kids, we're just going off the things we hear. Tom wasn't behind the curtain. I don't know that Phil was. I don't think he was. But so we're just going off what we hear. We heard that he didn't like the way, and we know who he is. He didn't like the way Keith Lee looked without a shirt on. Made him put a shirt on, change his gear. Keith's too big. Piper Niven is a big girl. Now, I don't care. Like Phil said, it doesn't affect how she works in the ring. She's really good in the ring. I'm not saying. But how are you going to be the company that, in my opinion, you fat shame Mickie James for how long? You did this stuff with Lee. You've done it with other people through the years. But yet you're going to put Piper Niven, who most of your mainstream Raw, I only watch Raw people, don't know or have even heard of. You're going to put her on TV in bright blue spandex. I don't care what she looks like, but they've made it clear, Phil, that they care that if people are overweight or not. Isn't that a double standard? And what kind of message are they sending when you know that they bash certain people, but then put people on TV? Is it just to tease her? What is it?
I don't know if it's just to tease her, but it's clearly a visual gag. It's just a dated visual gag. And I mean, like I said, very beautiful girl in my opinion, very talented wrestler. I just don't think she needs this. And I don't see how, and maybe I'll be wrong and this will get over and this will end up being a great thing. But judging by everything else they're doing with the women on Raw, none of it is good. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Mark Queen, and God, I hope I'm not mispronouncing your name, my friend. I don't know that I've ever seen you watching the show before. If you've been here, my apologies. Thank you for hanging out. We love new people here, man. I'm all about picking up new folks. I love my dedicated crowd, and I love the new folks as well. Ray, solid point. Otis is big, and they turn him into a clown.
Yes, they did. It's the same thing. Otis was great. He was super over. Then all of a sudden they decided, he can't be with this really pretty girl. We've run out of mileage with this gag. So let's just put him with Gable and act like Gable is his coach because he can't speak for himself anymore. He can't do any of the other fun stuff that he was doing before that people actually liked.
Great point. Chris is bringing it home. How many times did they fire Chris Hero for being out of shape? Like at least twice, right? Then bring him back. Company is weird, man, in general when it comes to stuff like that. 100% agree. It's the words double standard isn't right, but it's you're talking out of both sides of your mouth, as they say. They want it both ways. I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, and this should be said too. Like this isn't simply in reference to Piper. Not everybody's going to be a body guy. That's just
right.
It's the fact of the matter. One of the greatest, most memorable wrestlers of all time was Dusty, and he's a big guy. Not everybody has to be a body guy.
100%. And I'll still say that Dusty's on the Mount Rushmore. And if he's not on someone's Mount Rushmore, they're not an actual pro wrestling fan. How do you not include Dusty on the Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, I mean, look at Vader. Vader's one of the greatest wrestlers ever. Not a body guy. No. David, we'll wrap it up with David. Let's just hope Piper Niven gets some more reception out of this for the good wrestler that she is. Some more recognition, I think, maybe is what we're going for. So, yeah. If this name change is true, I don't know.
Ooh.
I don't know what to make of this.
Dewdrop? Is that what it is?
Dewdrop.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I never cursed on the show, but I'm close. Yeah. Here's what I'll say. You would have to guess that the check for Raw is much more substantial than the check for NXT UK, I hope. So good on her. Let her get paid. Let her bank that money. Get her some national spotlight. And Phil, if nothing else, It puts her back on people's radar. And if this whole thing doesn't work out and they cut her at some point, she could have went anywhere anyway, but now her profile will be higher. So in the end, maybe this won't be a loss and a bad thing for her overall for her career.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the adage is always going to be people are at least talking about it, but yeah, we'll see if that actually works, and it's a good thing.
Good point. Ratings real quick here, kids. This week's SmackDown, 1.94 million compared to last week's 1.8. Raw up from last week, God knows how, 1.74 up from 1.64. The other brands, AEW, we don't know because it's not happened yet. Last week was down to 487. It's Friday night. What are you going to do? NXT this week, 695 up from 669. Them's the numbers, kids. Up to you whether or not you care. I always like to just throw them out there. Let's move into main roster talk now here, folks. Before we kick into Hell in a Cell, let's talk about one of the main event matches that supposedly has been pulled. It's been pulled from WWE.com because it's going to happen tonight on SmackDown. Roman Reigns is going to face Mysterio tonight on SmackDown. Phil, what do you make of this?
Okay, so clearly this is going to be, they're going to run this match and there's going to be interference. It's going to be a distraction finish. And then somebody's going to come into it and go, we got to stop interference from coming in. We got to make this a Hell in a Cell match, pal. That's clearly where this is going.
Yeah, good point. Because right now there's only one cell match on the Hell in a Cell card. There's one. Why, Phil? Why are we doing? Why, God, why? You know?
How about I don't even know what is the Hell in a Cell match on the card?
It's Lashley and McIntyre.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude. Well, God, I don't know if anyone knows because they.
Well, I told you I haven't been watching Raw, so.
No, I understand. Yeah. Let's see. Chris says very weird with the 1 day bill, but I think they had to do this so they could finish up before 8:30, which is the rumor for SummerSlam because the Pacquiao fight is mentioned earlier. Oh, I get it. Yeah, so we'll see. Ooh, Cherie with a good point. Hopefully this means that Bianca and Bayley will be Hell in a Cell. They could switch that up tonight, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
Do you think they've done enough is there enough there to be a Hell in a... I mean, for that company, it's not enough for anybody. Who cares? But, I mean, I'm just saying.
No, not really. They haven't really established anything in this story to go, this needs to be a Hell in a Cell match.
And I'm with Phil, folks. I haven't watched Raw religiously in a long time. I had it on as background noise this past Monday, and here's my TV, so I had it here, and here's my laptop. So I'm working, and over my shoulder, I'm like, turn around, I'm like, what? What? And I just turned it off. I was done. I'd heard some nonsense, and I'm done. I can't do it. So here's our overly enthusiastic Hell in a Cell preview. We'll just fly through these. Alexa Bliss versus Shayna Baszler. Alexa Bliss.
Hot garbage.
Not the person. Relax. The character. I hate it. I hate it so much. If I never saw black eyeliner again, it'd be too soon. I can't stand it anymore. I'm done with it. Taker pulled it off. He barely pulled it off in his 50s. It is what it is. I'm so over this. Like, I just want this to go away. I want this to be done. How, Phil, does this whole Alexa Bliss thing end? I mean, can you speculate? Can you postulate how this thing, when's she going to, I'm normal again. Please tell me it's coming.
No, they're going to run this thing into the ground. They're going to keep running with this thing as long as they can. And here's the positive. I'll start with love on this. I don't watch a lot of Raw. But here's the positive. I think it's good that they are seeing that they need to make more secondary women's feuds and put them on the pay-per-view. Because, if you don't do that, then what's the point? Because, I mean, if the goal is only to put, women's title matches on the card, then, all these other women that you have on your roster are doing nothing. And so I think it's good that they're moving out of that and trying to give women more than just title feuds. If they want to make this equal footing for women, they have to do that. So, we can get into why is there no women's tag match on this card, but why is there really no tag match at all on this card? But they don't really care about tag team wrestling.
No, they don't. No.
But Alexa's a star. I always will say that she's a star. If anybody can pull off certain things, she can. I don't think that means she's pulling this gimmick off necessarily well. But if anybody can make a secondary feud matter, it's Alexa Bliss, because she's already an established star. And they clearly care about her. They're clearly going to push her. So, she's going to get TV time no matter what they give her to do. But this, basically aping the Fiend gimmick is just not working for me. It hasn't worked for me in a long time. I think the more and more we get further away from the Fiend stuff, this is Bray's thing. Bray makes it special. It just feels like Alexa is trying to impersonate Bray at this point, and it's just not working, man. It's just not working for me. It gets a lot of views on YouTube apparently. It's hitting all the metrics they want, so they're going to keep running with it as long as possible. Alexa's clearly winning this match. I don't know what the hell they're doing with Shayna Baszler. I said get her away from Nia. Clearly that didn't work because they just have no plan for her.
Again, I imagine the Raw check's better than the NXT check, so good for Shayna, good for her bank account, and bank that money and take advantage of every time you're on camera. If you're supposed to be black magic, voodoo, witchcraft, can't walk, then play that up to the best you can and make everybody believe it, and take advantage of every time the camera's turned on you and do what you can. But I don't know how the not performer in you, but the person in you that wanted to be a pro wrestler so bad you couldn't stand it, how you could be happy with this. I mean, how much teeth gnashing of teeth and gritting of teeth is going on backstage when they're pitched this stuff. I would love to be a fly on the wall during conversations when the door is shut behind that person and they're like, I cannot believe I have to do this. I cannot believe I'm doing this. Like, it blows my mind, man.
Yeah, I don't know. When you think about where Shayna was when she first came up, and I mean, just obliterating the field in that Elimination Chamber match. I mean, tying the record for most eliminations in the Women's Royal Rumble. And then we're now having her get rolled up by Reginald and being in a feud with a doll. Like, what are we doing? Get this woman in the title picture. Get her doing things that matter. Why is she in this feud? You could use anybody else in this feud. Why are you using her in this feud?
And I've said this about Asuka for a year, 2 years now, whatever it's been. They turned her from a killer to a clown. I feel like that's what they did to her. She was hell on wheels in NXT. Couldn't touch her. And then she's dancing and doing this, and the face paint's egregious, and it's just and she acts dopey, and she acts like come on, man, it's killing me.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at like what they've done with Deanna and Impact, and they hype up the fact that she's a heel, but also hype up the fact that she is a phenomenal technical wrestler. That's what we should be doing with Baszler. She's one of the best technical wrestlers in the company. I mean, she's got one of the most unique offenses there. Why is she being used in this feud this way? Just doesn't make sense to me.
Christopher says people watching bad angles on YouTube shouldn't be a metric used to book your show. I agree with that. With all the podcasts that talk about this angle in particular, it generates views in a negative way. You can usually get a good feel from the comment section. Chris, I agree. But I'll go back to what I've been saying for years. I don't think they care what people think, at least of all us.
They don't care about podcasters. They care about, what gets them engagements online, what gets them the clicks on YouTube, what they think is getting them the ratings. And I mean, to their credit, at WrestleMania, that Fiend entrance with Alexa got a loud reaction. So what are they going to do? They're not going to stop doing it now.
Yeah, to them, a click is maybe not good or bad. It's, they're looking, they're watching. Let's do this. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Alexa has a large fan base.
Yes, she does. So, Dude's Ringside Podcast. Everybody go check them out on the Twitch. I love it. Shayna will job to a doll. You know what I think should happen? I think she should lay the doll on top of her and the ref counts. I say do it. If you're going to, hey, listen. If you're going to do it, go. Just do it. Forget it. If you're going to do it, just do it. Screw it. I mean, listen, they're already in with this. Just do it. Lay the doll on top of her, and the ref's going, what am I doing? Count 3, and the ref has to count 3. Do it.
Can you imagine a world where, remember, Ronda beat Alexa to win the title. And the whole thing was that she had no chance of beating Ronda. So now you're telling me that Alexa has a chance in this match with Shayna? What changed? Just because she's spooky now?
Oh. Yeah. Chris comes back and says they took the doll off. It's grounded or whatever. Watch it make a comeback. It'll be as much of a triumphant comeback as Eva Marie. Mm-hmm. Toby says they should just have a 1-hour show devoted to the women only, actual wrestling, no voodoo. I got thoughts on this, Phil. I know you're a big women's wrestling guy as I am. I don't know if an hour show dedicated to women is the answer, because if that show doesn't hit its numbers, see what we did. We tried and they can't pull a rating. Isn't that where it would eventually go?
Well, I mean, that's what they did with Evolution. We tried, guys. It didn't do well. We're not going to do it again. But I do think an hour show would be interesting. I mean, they commit an entire hour to the cruiserweights, and nobody watches that show. There's no reason why they couldn't do an hour of, network exclusive or Peacock exclusive programming, and people would watch it. I think there are much more avid women's wrestling fans than there are cruiserweight fans.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if pitched in that regard, then yeah. But if you're talking about network TV, I think they're setting it up to fail. But if it's an app exclusive, I'd totally go with that. I think that would be a hit, man. I think enough people like us and people who agree with us would watch. I think they would draw a number for sure. Let's go to the next match because there's not many. We talked about this already. Bianca Belair versus Bayley, SmackDown Women's Title. Any chance they take the belt off Bianca here?
No. I think this is a strictly filler feud until Sasha comes back and they do the rematch. They're basically treading water with this feud because there really aren't that many other women on SmackDown of note. Like there 5 women on SmackDown?
Something like that, yeah.
So, yeah, they're basically treading water with this. And, I mean, to Bayley's credit, Bayley's a great heel, and she has been doing great with this. I'm kind of over them overusing the laugh, but still, I think they have chemistry together. And I think the match will be good.
Yeah. Shannon says, like I've said before, Ronda left and Becky is gone. They just stopped caring about the women. That kind of sums it up.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think women's wrestling in WWE definitely peaked in 2018. They stopped caring. I mean, when you think of everything that was going on in 2018, Evolution, Mae Young Classic, letting the women main event, 2018 was a great year for them, and I feel like it hasn't been much up from there. I mean, Bianca versus Sasha at WrestleMania was fantastic, but other than that, can't name that many more memorable women's pay-per-view matches from them this year.
I interviewed Pat LaPrade in 2018 because he had written a book about women's wrestling, and I got a free copy of that. And by the way, kids, it's excellent. You should do it. Phil, if you don't have a copy, you should definitely pick one up. It's really good. And I asked him at the time about the women's evolution, and I try not to be devil's advocate, but it was a long interview, so I pitched it to him, and I said, dude, this all sounds great. Everything's awesome, but what happens if they drop the ball? They've done it before. And he fires immediately back and says, yeah, but I don't think they'll drop the ball. And now here we are 3 years later, and I'm thinking, yeah, they did it. They managed to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. This thing I thought was a bona fide hit, and enough people were on board. The hashtag, what was it? Give divas a chance or whatever it was. I mean, it was getting over, and I don't know. They Triple H'd it. I don't know what happened, man. Crazy. Let's see. Yep, Jeff, we've already covered this, my friend. Yeah. Reigns and Mysterio tonight for sure. Shannon says if you're a woman that'll be outside the 4 Horsewomen, you want to be in NXT. I mean,
not far. I mean, unless you're Alexa. Alexa gets TV time.
They love her. And listen, talk about an all-women's event there, freaking Phil. With the exception of the WWE title match, it's an all-women's event. I can't be mad about that. Honestly. Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. I don't know. I think it's over for Rhea here. Am I crazy?
I wouldn't be surprised if Rhea loses. Her reign has been very uninteresting.
Yep.
I just don't feel like they've done anything to make her look special as champion. All of the glitz has been on Charlotte's return and making her into this great heel. I really don't understand what their feud is at this point. When I was watching it, it was like, oh well, I can beat Nikki Cross. No, I can beat Nikki Cross, and then we both lose to Nikki Cross. Okay, what was the point of any of that?
Yeah, I don't get it. They keep going back to this idea. They keep going back to the well of, she kind of looked like Charlotte in the beginning, but she wanted to change the way she looked and she wanted to set herself apart. Now she's the anti-Charlotte. And it's like, well, she's a heel. No, she's not. She's a babyface. Nah, she's a heel. Nah, she's a babyface.
Yeah, is she a heel at this point? I
don't know.
Oh, okay.
It's Friday, so I don't know. We'll find out Sunday, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
Jeez.
I feel like I hope they don't take the title off Rhea because I don't know what they're going to do with her if they do.
Oh, excellent point. I don't know what she's got if she doesn't have the title on the main roster. I don't know if she's got anything after that, dude. To be honest with you, yeah, I kind of think maybe it's over. Go back to NXT again?
No. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, putting the title on Charlotte again, like, who's really interested in that?
Yeah. And again, kids, we're not trying to hate on Charlotte. Charlotte's great. But
no, Charlotte's great, but
Charlotte is handcuffed to her creative, as they all are, Phil, and that could be a bad thing.
This is going to sound very harsh. When is the last interesting Charlotte title reign? And she's had a lot of them, but when is the last time she's been interesting as champion?
That's a great question.
I would say she hasn't been since maybe that first reign of SmackDown Women's Championship when she was a face. That's maybe the last one that I was interested in, but even that one kind of eventually was like, okay. But no, that was probably the last time I was interested, when she held the title into WrestleMania and had the match with Asuka.
Yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess. Versus Becky, Chris says. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the chances of Becky coming back by fall are pretty high. If it were me, I say keep the title on Rhea and give Becky a different matchup. I don't think you want Becky to come back and jump straight back into a feud with Charlotte again.
Toby says prediction: Becky interferes, setting up a triple threat at SummerSlam.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, and I think Chris is right. Didn't she hold the belt leading up to Becky 2 belts? Yeah.
But if you remember how she won the title, she took the title off Asuka 2 weeks before WrestleMania.
Right.
That was an interesting reign. And taking the title off of Asuka did nothing for Charlotte or Asuka. It just made Asuka look bad, like they've done several times at this point.
Oh, they love it. They love that. That's their thing.
By the way, didn't Asuka lose to Rhea again this week for like the 4th time?
I think so. Isn't that something?
I don't know.
Crazy. This leads us to the what I assume will be the main event, unless Roman and Mysterio get back on the card, which they may.
They probably.
Lashley, there it is, versus Drew Mack. And if Mack doesn't win this, he's no more title shots as long as Bobby has the title. And this is a traditional Hell in a Cell match for the WWE Championship. Is it over for Lashley in this show?
Why is it a Hell in a Cell match? Not trying to be skeptical, but just asking because I don't know.
No, be skeptical. Because I guess there's just so much heat there, so much fuel, and so much back and forth. I guess we got to settle a grudge, that kind of thing. I guess.
Okay.
Of all the matches that we just ran through, and there's not many, it's the one that would seem to me maybe Rhea and Charlotte should have been. I don't know. If you're going to put one in the cell, I guess this is the one. Is it over for Lashley here?
It seems like it. I hope not. I think Lashley should win this championship. And I would like to see Lashley at least hold the title into SummerSlam. I think everything that they've been doing with MVP and Kofi has been good. So if this is all building up to Kofi versus Lashley at some point, or maybe Brock's coming back to face Lashley, I'm more interested in that than Drew winning the title again. We don't need to see Drew with the title again. Like, what are we getting out of that? I don't understand why he keeps getting so many rematches. Like, he's gotten, 3 at this point?
And if you're not going to give it back to him at Mania, which would have, as much as we maybe wouldn't have liked Lashley losing it that soon, it would have made sense. But you didn't do it at Mania, so why would you do it now? Like, I don't get that.
Yeah, I kind of think he should have faced somebody else to Hell in a Cell, but look at you.
Toby's just throwing stuff to see what sticks to the wall now, Phil. The Fiend comes from under the ring and costs Drew the match.
I don't think we'll see Bray for a while.
Yeah, Bray's dealing with some stuff. And if you've ever dealt with stuff out there, folks, it's not the same amount of time, not the same length of road for all of us. Different people take different amounts of time to get to where they need to be in their head, for sure. Chris says, I actually am fine with it being Hell in a Cell if it's the actual blow-off match for this feud. I don't see Lashley losing. I'm okay with it, too, in that regard. I'm good with that. Ray, Phil, you'll like this. Do you see Kingston interfering and costing Drew?
But why?
Because they've been courting him. MVP's been courting him.
Oh, don't turn Kofi heel. Why would you turn him heel?
I agree.
And he's just so much better as a babyface. And if you're going to turn him heel, that means that you're possibly thinking about splitting him away from Woods. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll interfere. I don't know. But, I mean, it seems like if it's a Hell in a Cell match, how would he interfere?
And I said this to you last night. I firmly believe that if they are going to tie their horse to Kofi at some point, then the idea would be, well, pal, he needs a great heel run, because that's what they did with Bryan. That's what they did. Who else did I mention? That's what we're doing with Roman right now. They feel like, well, that'll work. That'll set him apart. That'll give him the perspective he's never done before, a new twist. We can work with that. We can build heels around him. We can put heels around him. And it won't be just him as a baby face with him against the world. And maybe it'll end up better. Listen, if it ended up better and he were able to evolve as a performer and then a year and a half down the road turn face again with New Day, I don't know if I'd hate it. Plus, if it gets him a lengthy title reign, I'd definitely be with it.
Yeah, I mean, if they do it in an interesting way, sure. But my thing is this, because they keep doing this thing where they decide, oh, you really like this guy? We don't care. Let's turn him heel. And then they'll always turn around and say, you guys want to boo the good guys. You guys want to cheer the heels. And that's why we don't know what to do. Like, you guys are missing what we want to do with the characters. Or you get the whole, that's why this character worked when there weren't live audiences, because we can just build a character the way we want. And you guys can't interfere in that process. No, if we're telling you, we like Kofi and people have been wanting this guy to get a rematch for over a year, making him a heel won't get people to stop cheering him. If it looks like you're putting him back in the title picture like we always wanted, they're going to cheer. They're not going to boo him.
And yeah, and if anything, it will cause people to cheer more, because they'll say, see, we told you he was good. He's getting this over.
Exactly. So
yeah.
People, it's the same thing that happened with Becky in 2018, or the year that she became the man. People mistook this to go, okay, let's turn her heel, but nobody was booing, so they had no choice but to basically make her a tweener. And so I'm like, but no, nobody wanted to boo her in the first place. So why would you try to make her a heel?
Here's what I'll tell you, and listen, from being backstage in a pro wrestling company and helping putting things together and talk about angles and storylines, and I'll break the fourth wall and doing all that stuff, I will tell you for sure, riding the fence or a tweener, as Phil said, does not work. Come at me. I don't care who you got, throw them at me, and we could probably dispel that notion. It doesn't work. It may work for 10 minutes. Fine. It will not work long term. People want to hate someone. and they want to cheer someone. You can make them middle of the road all you want to, Phil, but long-term booking does not work. People are going to make a decision at some point in the middle of that run.
Yeah, I think people will always try and throw at you Austin because he did heelish things. But at the same time, we know who the heel is in his dynamic. It's always McMahon. He's the good guy. He's the anti-authority guy. He's the guy that we're supposed to like.
Absolutely. Does Brock factor into this Sunday?
I think if Brock factors in, I think because do we have another pay-per-view before SummerSlam? Is it Money in the Bank before SummerSlam?
I think you're right, but we will find out.
I think if we see Brock, I think it'll be closer to SummerSlam.
We shall see. Everybody, welcome the third guest to the show. The boy has arrived. Say hello, son.
Hey.
Wait a minute. Let me get him on here. Say hello, Phil.
Hey.
There you go.
It's a dope shirt, man.
He digs your shirt.
Thank you.
Yes. Let's see. As far as the WWE, by the way, Phil, does it irritate you like it does me? And feel free to disagree if you want. When people call it the E, it's the E. This isn't the NBA. You can't call this the L for the league. The E. Oh, so it's the entertainment. Have you ever referred to WWE as the entertainment? It's the E. I hate that. Why do I hate that so much?
It's an internet thing. It's a trying to sound cool on the internet thing. I see people call it the Fed sometimes. I'm like, yeah, no, doesn't work for me.
It used to work when it was a federation, but not so much now. Here's what's funny. On WWE.com, the listing of their shows used to be in order, and now it no longer is. So, yeah, it's all jumbled up. It's a nightmare. Let's see. If you click on the Money in the Bank, what happens? It just gives you the results for the last Money in the Bank. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Brock got involved, but that brings up a whole other conversation with Heyman and Roman and all that stuff. So, yeah, we shall see. Kids, it's reached an all-important moment in the show. We're up on the hour, so we're going to open up the floor for a few minutes, and then we're going to boogie on out of here. So what do you guys got for us? By the way, that was your Hell in a Cell card. Enjoy. Open floor. I got a gnat in here, and it just popped up. You didn't bring that gnat in here, did you? Maybe the boy brought the gnat in here. He is a disgusting 12-year-old, doesn't know how to bathe himself properly. I'm just saying, if any of you guys have boys out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He ever walks, he walks into a room, and I'm like, what? Oh, my God, take a shower. Yeah, because he's like, I don't take a shower. Yes, you do. Go get yourself clean. Toby says, why is Tony Storm off TV? Is Tony injured? Have you heard anything?
No, not that I know of. I didn't know she was off TV.
I thought everything was going fine, but maybe she's injured.
Yeah, because I thought she was still doing the stuff with Zoe Starks.
Yeah,
and actually Zoe Starks, it seems like she's in that whatever they're getting ready to do with EL.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Boy, they're high on Toby or on Starks. They're very high on her. She has turned some heads, and you could just tell. There's what is it? Edge and Christian say they're rocket strapping her. It seems like they are, man. Is she? No disrespect to her, but what do you? I mean, do you see it with her? I'm not saying she's bad, but do you see it?
Yeah, she's had some great matches, but I mean, it's such a crowded division. It's tough to really tell because they've got so many options there. I mean, you just brought in Frankie Monet. I think Frankie looks great. You just brought in Saray. Saray looks great. You got Mercedes Martinez on TV. You got Shotzi. You've got a lot of options in that division.
Very true. Chris, thank you, my friend. Money in the Bank is indeed Sunday, July 18th.
That's what I thought.
There you go. Thoughts on Darby in the handicap match? You got thoughts on Darby in the handicap match?
Darby is in a handicap match. Remind me is it against Scorpio and Ethan Page?
I think that's right. I mean, basically, he's going to tell them to throw him off of stuff. I can tell you that.
He's going to do some bumping.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to do some big time bumping. No, it should be a good match. Forgive me, I don't know all the competitors, but Darby has been spectacular this year. I think he's been one of the highlights of AEW programming from all that time with the TNT Championship. He looked great in the cinematic Sting match. I mean, he even looked good in a tag match recently. So,
Yeah.
At this point, he could do no wrong.
I agree. Timothy, what's up, my friend? Phil Lindsey, give me your take. Anthony Agogo. And will the Hawks eliminate the Sixers tonight or Sixers force? I'll answer the last part. Sixers are going to force game 7. I'm a Sixers guy, man. I can't pull against my team. What do you think, Phil?
I think Philly can force a game 7. They've coughed up 2 wins in a row that they should have won. I don't know what the heck is going on there. Had 2 big leads heading into the second half and just coughed it up. I don't know. So maybe they'll pull it out tonight and force a game 7. As far as Agogo, I really like Agogo. Seems like he really likes wrestling. I really like his moveset. I like his presentation so far. I think they've got to get him in something other than the Cody stuff and let him, run as a heel and just give him something else other than this, I am a foreign heel thing. Like that it does nothing for me. Other than that, he's great.
Yeah, I agree with that. Christopher Sims says, Happy Father's Day, Tom and Phil. Phil, are you a dad?
I am not a dad, but I will take that Father's Day phrase. I'm somebody's father somewhere, I guess.
you hope not literally, right?
But no, probably not.
Just saying. Thank you, Chris. Very, very nice of you, my man. Thank you for that. Let's see. Also from Chris, Kelly Klein. So NWA is going to have this all women's main pay-per-view, and good for them. I'm buying that. I can't wait to see it, dude. I want to see Kelly Klein back in a major company. I want to see her in a major company, man. I'm not sure what the long-term reasoning is for her not being in the ring again. I thought that Ring of Honor let her go, which means she's out of a contract. So has she lost heart for the business? I've not heard a thing about her.
Wasn't she dealing with injuries at that time too, though?
Maybe. That's good. We're going back over a year now, though, aren't we?
Yeah, I know there was some concussion stuff, but I think she was dealing with another injury at that time. So maybe she was just recuperating. I definitely want to see her in a ring somewhere. I'm surprised no one has snatched her up yet. But I have to assume she will be one of those people once live shows come back. She'll be one of those people that shows up somewhere.
Ray says, will Dame Dollar go to the Lakers?
No. They can afford him. They can't afford him.
What do you think?
He's going to stay in Portland. And unless like something crazy comes along and somebody offers a big trade, he's not leaving Portland. And he's definitely not leaving Portland to go to the Lakers. They have nothing to trade for him.
Shannon, thank you for watching, my friend. Always appreciate you. Toby hits us with Kelly and Tessa both need to be somewhere big. Don't hit me at the end of this with a Tessa Blanchard conversation because that's just too big.
Good luck on that. Good luck on hoping Tessa lands somewhere anytime soon. I don't know what to make of any of the Tessa stuff. I definitely think she will end up somewhere eventually, but I don't know where, and it's going to be a tough sell for some people.
I will say this as it pertains to Miss Blanchard. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Yeah. I'm not saying she's guilty of everything that's been said. Don't know, wasn't there. But I think enough people with corroborating stories of the same stories, I think there's enough there. One person could hold a grudge. Half dozen or more, that's no longer a grudge. That's an eyewitness account. I mean, I feel like there's enough there where every major company's going, I don't think we can. Nah.
Yeah, I mean, she's still very young. I think there's a way to, grow and move on from this. We've certainly seen other crazier things, but I think she has to, be accountable and she has to, make amends for that to happen. And I just haven't seen her do that yet.
I mean, it's possible. We've seen people come back from really bad behavior. I mean,
yeah. I mean, she's extremely young, so I mean, it's possible, but I don't know what to make of that anytime soon. It doesn't seem like anybody's in a hurry to sign her.
Victor says Tess is still the WoW champion. Is that thing still going? I honestly didn't know
if WoW champion anymore. I thought she lost it to Beast.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Ray always hits us with a hip hop question. De La Soul or NWA? NWA for me.
De La Soul has a better catalog, so I'm gonna go with De La Soul.
Oh, interesting. You pulled a swerve on me there. I was thinking more in terms of far-reaching effects and
Oh, and in terms of influence and cultural importance, it's definitely NWA. But in terms of like music and my listening, I'm gonna go with De La Soul.
I'm still on a Jay-Z kick right now. Seriously on a Jay-Z kick. It's I go from one thing to the next. I'll pick like an album of the moment and stay on it for like a month and then pick up something else. Timothy says Don Callis was fired from Impact last night.
Fired, pal.
Yeah. I assume that's storyline, right? Obviously.
Well, yeah, he hasn't been EVP for Impact for a while, so
Okay.
I figured his whole role as a kayfabe authority guy was going to end soon. I'm surprised it didn't end sooner. But I mean, after everything that happened against all odds, it seemed like it was, writing was on the wall. And I think there's like some reports that he's working backstage or he's working in some capacity with AEW. So it seemed like it was bound to happen.
Yeah. Toby says, Phil, who's your football team? I'm Cowboys for life. Toby, I'm sorry for you. As they say in the South, we'll pray for you.
Cowboys, eh? I am a Bears fan by default because I'm a Chicagoan, but the Bears always lose because Chicago sports is depressing.
Dub Bears. Chris says, with Impact and AW working together, only landing spot I could see is WWE if they wanted to roll the dice to say like the Rumble or something. And again, Chris, if any company would maybe roll the dice on Tessa, it could be them because I firmly believe that they want more than anything to say the words tonight, Flair versus Blanchard. I believe they want to do that.
Oh, of course. I think there's plenty of money in doing like a horsewoman gimmick with her. And, there's plenty they can do with her in WWE. And if anybody, has history of signing problematic people and just making it work, it's WWE. But I wouldn't be too quick to say AEW would not sign her as well. I think if AEW saw some money in that, they'd sign her as well. And I mean, Tully's there. She's got friends that are there. I mean, she's got friends at WWE. So it's possible. I don't know. I mean, I think the fact that WWE hasn't tried to sign her yet is kind of a red flag because I mean, she's been gone from Impact for about a year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Plenty of time to make something happen. Now, to be fair, the pandemic hit, so
that's true. And I mean, again, I do think she's going to end up somewhere eventually, but where that will be, I don't know. I think it would be crazy if she ends up with NWA. I can see that happening. There's places she can end up. I don't know.
And also, Tully could segue to the NWA brand to appear at some point with Arn, but that's not going to happen in Vince McMahon's world. So, and honestly, how do you bring in a Tessa Blanchard into WWE and talk up the Horsemen when you don't have two of the four Horsemen there under contract? Like,
yeah,
the
only thing that I would say, and I hate that I fantasy booked this in my head, but I just have. If you have basically given up on this 4 horsewomen of MMA versus 4 horsewomen of WWE, you can always do a different route with this. And if Ronda ever comes back, you could put Ronda and Shayna with Tessa and maybe a 4th, and there's your 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen match.
Interesting. Wow. Man, you're gonna pitch that to me at the end of the show. That's crazy.
It's plausible. I don't know if they would actually pull the trigger on that because again, you'd have to sign Tessa and take on her baggage. But if there's money to be made, people will always try.
Welcome, Miss Blanchard. Hey, can we get her bags checked back here? Just put them over here. How many are there? Oh, there's more than 5? Oh my God.
Hey, Hulk Hogan is still on your televisions, kid.
Don't even get me started on that.
There's money to be made. They'll try.
And there's and I think you and I have discussed this at length about other things similar. If I went on the record right now and called someone a jerk or an a-hole or a d-bag or whatever, and I was just passionate about it, I can apologize for that. I can say it's a poor choice of words. I was in the heat of the moment. I apologize. If I called someone the N-word or another racial slur, in my opinion, that speaks to something more than the heat of the moment. That speaks to what's in your soul that you're going to, you see what I'm saying? How did that word come so easy? I don't know, dude.
I had an ongoing joke on Twitter because it seems like every time this happens and somebody throws out that slur, somebody always say heat of the moment. And every time I see it, no fail, I'll find a clip of the song or someone singing heat of the moment, and I'll always post it in response to it every time I see it.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Yeah,
I don't agree with that.
But I mean, they've got some very problematic people on television right now. Do I believe that this is a deal breaker that Tessa did that? No. Orton's still on television, kids. Jordan Devlin is still on television. At one point, Riddle was getting sued, and he was still on television.
Yep.
So if they feel like there's money to make with somebody, and they feel like that none of that will change that, they will sign them and put them on TV.
Toby, we're going to take it home here, but I think we're going to do it on this comment. If Vince will take blood money from Saudi Arabia, he'll sign Tessa.
Somebody put that Oprah shrugging me. I just, he's done worse things. He's brought in more problematic people than Tessa. If he will put Hogan back on TV and not just reinduct him into Hall of Fame, give him another Hall of Fame induction with the NWO, what's stopping him from signing Tessa Blanchard? Nothing.
I said we're going to take it home, but Victor popped up with this. Look at Sammy. He's still on TV. One, it's a separate company. Two, I won't make excuses for what happened. But he came out and supposedly contacted Sasha directly, right? If I'm getting the story right. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not really comparable. That's not really the same thing. I wouldn't put him in the same conversation with someone like Tessa or Jordan Devlin or people that have done like actual things. We're getting into legality at that point. So, and that's not to say that what Sammy said was okay. It was a dumb joke. It was really stupid for him to say that.
Yeah.
And, he apologized for it. I don't think that that's the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. Well, kids, guess what? We ran really long today, but it's all good. We hope you had fun. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. Phil, before we get up out of here, tell the good people out there where they can find you on the internet machine.
You can find me on Twitter at PhilDL616. Find me at Bleacher Report and Daily DDT. Probably a bunch of other places that I'm forgetting.
A working man's rider right here, kids. Thanks much for watching here today. And remember to go check out the shop because I got T-shirts, man. I got some T-shirts to sell. All kinds of stuff, man. Mugs and water bottles. And there was even a mini skirt option. Somebody could have had my logo all up on their mini skirt. I didn't click it. I could have clicked it. I said, nah, it's kind of tasteless. But so if there's any female audience members who are like, I'd rock a Tom Clark's Main Event mini skirt, I'll go make the button happen. I'm just saying. So there you go. All right, we're going to get out of here. Everybody go enjoy Hell in a Cell Sunday. Or not. And I'm on vacation next week, but I'll be here next Friday. Never you fear. I'll be back in town by that point, and we'll do the main event. We'll do it up. Phil, thank you as always, my friend, for hanging out. Thank you for coming on today.
Hope that I brought all the positive vibes.
Absolutely. Nothing but positivity here, kids. We're going to get out of here, folks. Thanks again, as always, for watching. Thanks for all the support. Happy Father's Day to y'all. Everybody have a great weekend. Thanks again, kids. We'll see you next week. Have a great one. Tom Clark's Main Event.